Welcome back to Andersen Acres. We are here with the dogs again, Tequila and Whiskey. Vodka's behind the camera, chilling out. We don't really need too much of their participation today because today we are going to talk about being quiet. Teaching your dog to be quiet. Because we taught how to speak. Hi, I love you too. Kisses, yeah. But we taught how to speak last time. Now you want to teach your dog to be quiet. I want to preface this by saying livestock guardian breeds, which is what I deal with. I don't deal with other breeds. I deal with only the livestock guardians. So livestock guardian breeds are bred to do two things. They're bred to ignore you. And yes, they are bred to ignore you. They are bred for what I call deliberate disobedience, to ignore you in favor of doing what they know they need to do. So they'll ignore you if they have a job to do. They're bred for that. They're also bred to bark. They're bred to bark to alert you to predators. They are bred to bark to drive off those predators, to mark their territory as their own. Barking is kind of their thing. Yes, you're a good girl and you're a good boy, Whiskey. So barking is what they do. So you have to be kind of careful with teaching your dog to be quiet because you don't want to teach them never to bark. That's not a good plan. You absolutely need them to bark sometimes. So when it comes to livestock guardians, the better thing to do is to slowly teach them to be quiet when asked, but don't ever yell at them to be quiet before you figure out what they're trying to tell you. So the first thing you have to do is you have to wait for an opportunity, because it is not fair to get your dog all riled up and barking and then try and get them to be quiet because you just wanted them to bark and now you want them to shush. That's not fair. So you want to wait until your dog actually barks at anything, as long as you didn't ask them to. If you ask them to speak, it is not then fair to start trying to get them to be quiet because you asked them to. So assuming you didn't ask them to, they're barking at something. The last thing you want to do is scream and yell. First of all, screaming and yelling is just barking back at them. So barking back is actually not at all helpful. Is it, Tequila? You want butt rubs. Okay, good girl. Yeah, okay, come here. I know I love you. So yelling and screaming at your dog when they're barking is really just barking back. So then it's a party. Then we're all barking, we're all having a good time, we're all yep, 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 yep. I love you. So you don't want to be yelling and screaming. It's not going to help. And it's not necessary. So when your livestock guardian starts barking, the very first thing you want to do is immediately... What are you looking at? Come here. But you want to immediately find out why they're barking, okay? Sometimes it's obvious. Sometimes, they're barking because there's a bird. So what you want to do is figure out why they're barking. Now Tequila's laying down. But you want to figure out why they're barking. So, okay, figure it out. If it's something that needs to be addressed, address it. So if they're barking because there's a coyote in the yard, that's the wrong time to teach quiet. Instead, what you want to do is address the coyote in the yard. You and your dog want to go get that coyote out of the yard. Okay. But if it's not something they need to be barking about, go figure out what it is, acknowledge it, and then wait. Okay? Your dog's going to be barking. Wait. Don't say anything. Don't do anything. This is a good opportunity to get a treat, because you may have a couple minutes of your dog yap, 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 yap. So, okay, they're yapping, they're yapping, they're yapping. You've got a treat now because you're waiting for the yapping to stop. Don't yell at the dog. Don't be like, be quiet or shut up. Don't. Shush. You want quiet, you need to be quiet. So be quiet and wait. Just sit and wait. Okay, you're just going to sit with that treat and you're going to just wait. You can stand, you can sit, doesn't matter. But just sit and wait. As soon as they stop barking, okay, don't tease them with the treat or anything. They can't bark forever. So as soon as they stop barking, say, yes, quiet, and give them the treat. Okay, yes is that mark. So that mark needs to come as soon as they're actually quiet. Not just taking a breath for a bigger bark, because dogs do that too. Just like kids. Your kid will, before they scream. When they're taking a big breath to bark some more, that's not quiet. That's getting ready to bark some more. Wait for actual quiet. And then you say, yes, quiet, and give the treat. Because that's what you absolutely need to reinforce is the quiet. So this trick is not really a trick, it's just teaching your dog to be quiet. But it can take a little while to teach, mostly because what happens is you have to wait for the opportunity. And if your dog is not a huge barker, like Vodka behind the camera there, he's not a huge barker. Are you, Vodka? No, you're not. You don't bark lots. Do you want to come here? Or are you chewing a ball? You chew your ball. So Vodka's not a big barker, so we don't have a lot of opportunity to tell him to be quiet. But because he's not a big barker, we don't have to have that opportunity, because if he's barking, there's something going on. Tequila is more vocal, and Whiskey only barks when another dog is barking. So Tequila is more vocal, so she's the one we focus on. We always find out what she's barking about, and when we're sure that that is not something we need to address, we then wait for her to be quiet, and then it's, yes, quiet, give her the treat. Okay, so she is not nearly as vocal as she was, and we've done that without damaging her ability to tell us what's going on. If you get mad and you punish your livestock guardian for barking, they might stop barking, and then you could miss something that you need to know. So you absolutely do not want to get mad at them for barking. You want to figure out what they're barking at, address it if it needs to be addressed. If it doesn't, that's when you can teach the quiet command. Now, again, this could take a little bit to reinforce with your dog. Once they know what quiet means, you can kind of play the speak, be quiet game, where you ask your dog to speak, they bark, yes, treat, then quiet, yes, treat, and you can kind of play back and forth, varying the order, maybe have 2 speaks in a row and then a quiet, or 2 quiets, and kind of make a game, and then they start to understand what you want when you say speak and quiet. They understand their opposites, and that they should do what they're asked. You just need to take your time. This one is, especially with livestock guardians, is one that can take quite a while, because you got a livestock guardian to alert you to danger. That's their point. So you do need to still allow them to alert you to danger when they need to. Are you getting up, Vod? Or are you just changing position? Whoa, big job. Especially when you're 125 pounds. Yes, Vodka's now 125 pounds, by the way. He's huge. Anyway, not the point. But just remember to take your time when teaching your dog to be quiet. Don't overreact. Don't yell and scream. It's not going to help you. It's just going to frustrate you and frustrate the dog. So take your time. Be quiet if you want quiet. All right? But that is about it for us here today at Andersen Acres. We'll see you tomorrow.